It was a cold winter morning. Manhattan, New York, buzzed with the frenetic energy of a city that never slowed down. Skyscrapers loomed overhead, their glass facades reflecting the pale sunlight, while the streets below were a blur of hurried footsteps and steaming coffee cups. Outside a small coffee shop, on the cracked pavement, sat a lanky young man. His coat was threadbare, frayed at the shoulders, and his fingers clutched a worn notebook. James Carter. His eyes held a strange spark, as if he could see a future no one else believed in. Passers-by barely spared him a glance, dismissing him as just another homeless figure in the city's margins. But inside James, something burned fiercely. Once, James had been a promising student at a good college, a computer science major with big dreams and a life that seemed destined for greatness. But 2 years ago, everything changed. His father's sudden death in a car accident shattered his world. The small grocery store that had been the family's lifeline drowned in debt. His mother's illness consumed what little savings remained. Medical bills piled up, hospital visits became a blur, and then came the diagnosis: cancer. James dropped out of college. The family home was sold, and he found himself on the streets. By day, he pored over books in the public library. By night, he slept on a park bench. His notebook was filled with scribbled ideas, dreams that might never see the light of day. It was in that library where he first saw her, Emily Dawson. She sat by the window, a thick graphic design book open before her, a Café mocha in hand. Her brown hair fell loosely over her shoulders, and her deep blue eyes held a quiet calm, untouched by the city's chaos. James watched her from afar. She came every day, sketching in her notebook, then left without a word. He never dared to speak to her. But one day, as he scribbled in his notebook, a soft voice startled him. "You're here every day, working on something big?" James looked up. Emily stood before him, her eyes curious. He gave a faint smile. "Just my dreams." His voice carried a quiet confidence that didn't match his tattered coat or disheveled hair. Emily laughed. "Dreams? That's a good start. Anything specific?" James opened his notebook, revealing rough diagrams and ideas for social media marketing packages tailored for small businesses. "I want to create affordable campaigns that make small shops look like big brands, but fit their budgets." Emily's eyes lit up. "I'm a graphic designer. If you want, I can help with some designs." James couldn't believe it. He nodded, half expecting this to be a dream that would vanish. From that day, they started working together. James crafted social media campaigns on the library's outdated computers, while Emily created stunning visuals on her laptop. They spent hours talking, sometimes about business, sometimes about life. Emily shared that she came from a small town where her parents ran a farm. She'd taken a loan to study in New York, chasing a new life. James told her about his father's laughter, his mother's illness, and the nights spent on the streets. A strange understanding grew between them, as if they were piecing together each other's unfinished stories. Often after the library closed, they'd sit in a nearby coffee shop. Emily would share half her coffee, and James would joke, "This is my first meal of the day." Emily laughed, but her eyes held a trace of sadness. She knew how hard his life was, yet his resilience amazed her. Within 6 months, their small venture gained traction. James and Emily landed 50 clients, local restaurants, bakeries, and shops that thrived thanks to their campaigns. James no longer slept on park benches. He rented a tiny room, and his bond with Emily deepened. One night, as they finalized a campaign, Emily took his hand. "James, you're going to do something extraordinary. I believe in you." James looked into her eyes, and for the first time, he felt he wasn't alone. But life had another betrayal in store. One day, an old college friend, Ethan, reappeared. Ethan was all charm, slick words, expensive clothes, and a smile that inspired trust. James, your idea is brilliant, but to scale it, you need money, connections. I have both. He offered a partnership. James, still scarred from trusting too easily, hesitated but eventually agreed. He thought this might be his big break. Ethan took charge of registering the company. He had James sign papers, and soon Carter and Co. was making waves on social media. But one night, an email shattered everything. Ethan had transferred all their clients to a new agency under his own name. The papers James signed left him with nothing. Ethan had stolen it all. James was back on the streets. His tiny room, his company, his dream, gone. He called Emily, but she was struggling too. She'd taken a job at another agency to pay her loan bills. James, I believe in you, but I have to keep my life together too. Her voice was heavy with pain, but to James it felt like his last anchor had slipped away. That night he sat on a park bench, the cold wind cutting through him. His notebook lay in his lap. He opened it to a page where he'd written, "The right partner changes everything." He vowed never to trust blindly again. James started over. He launched a new company, Carter Digital Solutions. This time, he didn't just focus on social media. He spent nights in the library teaching himself to code, building an AI-based marketing tool to help small businesses understand their customers' preferences. He worked tirelessly, meeting clients by day, coding by night. His body grew weary, but the spark in his eyes never faded. One day as he worked in the library, a familiar face appeared. Emily. She hesitated, then approached. "James, I heard you're building something new." He smiled faintly. "Yeah, this time it's just me and my dreams." Emily's eyes held a flicker of regret. "I made a mistake, James. I want to be with you." James looked at her. His heart urged him to embrace her, but he held back. "Emily, I trust you, but this time we build everything together." She nodded, and from that day, they were a team again. Their passion burned brighter than ever. Emily's designs made James's AI tool visually stunning. They worked late into the night, laughing, arguing, but never letting go of each other. In the summer of 2021, their hard work paid off. A major restaurant chain signed a $250,000 contract to test their AI tool. James and Emily rented a small office, hired interns, and poured everything into their work. Within a year, Carter Digital Solutions was valued at over $1 million. James was no longer the boy in the tattered coat, but the spark in his eyes remained. That night, when the company hit the $1 million mark, James asked Emily to meet him at the library where they'd first met. The library was closed, but he'd convinced the guard to let them in for an hour. In the dim glow of a table lamp, he took her hand. "Emily, you saw something in me I couldn't see in myself. You were there when I was broken, when I rose again." He pulled out a small ring box and said, "Will you be my partner in life and in this company?" Tears filled Emily's eyes. She nodded softly and whispered, "Yes, James, always." Today, James and Emily are more than business partners. They're life partners. Their company helps hundreds of small businesses achieve their dreams. When asked the secret to their success, James smiles and says, "The right partner changes everything, in business and in life." Life broke James many times, but each time he rebuilt himself. And this time he had Emily, his strength, his love, and his greatest victory.